to France, one of the great racing meccas, host of the world-famous Tour de France, and widely thought of as giving birth to the art of motor racing in the late 1800s. How far we've come since then. As this year's race gets underway, it's time, of course, for the French Grand Prix. We have 15 corners here at the Circuit Paul Ricard, 6 to the left and 9 to the right. But the rain is coming down and making for a slippery racing surface. But luckily, there is plenty of runoff area available, and hopefully we'll be able to avoid bringing out a safety car during today's Grand Prix. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and it's Kevin Magnussen in P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Norris, Daniel Ticktum and Verstappen, Hamilton, Albon, Gasly and Nicholas Latifi, Vettel, Perez, Carlos Sainz and Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Stroll, Guan Yu Zhou and Felipe Drugovich, Schwartzman, Daruvala, Tsunoda, they've taken a grid penalty, and Joker. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. Now, Natalie Pinkham, I wonder, might we be in for some early pit stops today from the midfield teams, trying to put pressure on or disrupt things for the leaders up front?
If you're in the middle of the pack, you know, you've got your own race to run. I don't think they're going to be thinking about causing trouble up front. However, closer to the head of the pack, don't be surprised to see some split strategies. If you're running second and third, for example, bringing one car in for an undercut whilst leaving the other out longer can put a lot of pressure on the leader and maybe force them into making an error.
Hello everybody, it's Joe here and welcome back to my F122 My Team Career Mode campaign. First announcement then is that Oscar Piastri has been replaced by George Russell from this moment forward. Reason being, I'm going for the Constructors' Championship, and Piastri, he tended to make a few too many mistakes and just, you know, he wasn't there in performance, so we've had to let him go. The second announcement is that this will be the final season of this My Team Career Mode journey before we switch over to and hand over to the new F1 game, F1 23. It looks absolutely incredible and I cannot wait to get stuck in. The new edition of Red Flags for me is the one thing I'm looking forward to seeing how that implicates our races the most. Right, it's lights out and away we go from our POV then. And it's not the greatest start from us, but I'm going to try and carry a little bit more speed around the outside of turn 1 if I can. It is very, very wet. It is very, very treacherous. Right, down the outside we go, but I've kind of run off the circuit a bit there. And as I've gone off the track, I am just going to let everyone through again before having another go into the right-hander here. And we're picking off Daruvala and Tsunoda, I think, who's on the left there. We've got a bit more speed on the outside, and we're going to take both Williams, hopefully, while they're being backed up. We have done that. Zhou and Drugovich have now been dispatched. Next ahead of us is Esteban Ocon, who in this career mode, it's got to be said, he has made some questionable moves. Moving to Alfa Romeo in Season 2, now to Haas in Season 3. I wonder, when it comes to the F1 23 game, are the driver transfers going to be just as wild? We hope so. Right, going down the inside of Debose on Esteban Ocon, as I also call it, my favourite overtaking move. We are now up into P17. We've got Lance Stroll dead ahead of us. As I hit the curb a little bit too hard there. I thought I was going to lose the car, but nothing in doing in that, as we now try and go around the outside to switch to the inside to get this move done on Stroll. Is that going to be the move done? I think it is. We cover him off, and our teammate George Russell leading the way and setting the fastest lap in doing so as well. So George having a great debut for us here. I'm surprised that no other team had snapped him up for Season 3. He was actually a free agent for this season, so what was the deal with that, I wonder? Anyway, we've got past Robert Schwartzman now. This is Carlos Sainz having a look at Nicholas Latifi. And is he going to get the move done? Yes, he is, and he nearly loses the car doing it. hitting the curb quite hard, but Sainz now up into P12. And now we're going to have a look at Mick Schumacher for P14. We're going down the inside. He's fighting me off a bit harder than Stroll was, but we've got a yellow flag, so I think he's had to back out because of that. And the reason for the yellow flag is Alex Albon is pulling off to my right. So that's Albon out of the race. Latifi, the previous race winner. Wow, that feels so odd to say. But the previous race winner, Latifi, now carrying all honours for Alpine here as the virtual safety car ends. And speaking of Latifi, we really catch him napping there as we go up into P12. And we are now just 2 places outside the points. So I'm thinking we can up our game here and try and get ourselves in the points. But also, I'm wondering what the weather's going to do through this race. But right now I'm thinking, how can I get past Sebastian Vettel? The answer was not through there, but I'm setting up beautifully a move down the inside there, and Vettel doesn't even fight me off. He offers as much resistance as drivers offered to Max Verstappen in the actual Miami Grand Prix this year. But now we're up into P11, we're catching Carlos Sainz, and I don't know if it's just me, but it looks like the rain is just starting to ease that little bit. And I'm starting to think maybe we can make an early-ish pit stop, get onto Inters, and get an undercut on these guys. We were going after Carlos Sainz, but there's a yellow flag. What has happened there? Who's spun there? It's George Russell, our new teammate. Russell just getting caught out by the conditions, doing a 360 spin. He will recover, but he has dropped right down to the back end of the points. I think he's now in P9. So Russell throwing away all that good work. But now we're going back after Sainz. I could have had him a lap previous if not for that, but it is what it is. Let's get after Carlos. Round the outside, braking later, sweeping round, and we take that 10th place. So next up is George Russell, and he is up the back of Sergio Perez. So Perez is backing him up. So we've decided this is the point to pit in and take a gamble on those intermediate tyres. The track is getting a little bit drier, but not dry enough for slicks. The rain is still sticking around for a bit yet, but now we've pitted, we've taken on intermediates. Let's see what sort of pace they can give us, and if they can help us gain some kind of undercut. We'll have about a lap or two free before we catch up to traffic. It's definitely looking brighter in the sky though, so better weather is definitely on the way as we get a little bit caught out early on by the conditions. Meanwhile, here's our new race leader, Kevin Magnussen, in the McLaren as he heads into the last corner, and he's got it completely wrong. Magnussen now having a chance to have his own spin, and we've got the 2 Ferraris, 1 and 2, but Magnussen is stuck there. That brought out the safety car, and remarkably, nobody electing to pit under the safety car. They don't feel like the track's ready for intermediates. I've now taken the gamble, and you know what? The track has started to dry. This could work out absolutely tremendously for us, because now we've pitted and we're in line with everybody else. The gaps have all closed up. When they all pit, we could jump quite a lot of positions here. So the early pit stop really could pay off here as we try and hunt down Felipe Drugovich. He's just got that little bit more traction at the moment. We're going to sweep round the outside here. No way through just yet. But now all the AI are starting to pit. Norris sets the fastest lap of the race, and Norris, he's definitely got some confidence in his tyres. But yeah, it's definitely intermediates now as everyone is pitting in and taking intermediates. So this is advantage Joe here, and I can just hang on to these tyres until the end of the race. That's the plan. Everybody else is going to pit this lap, and it does look like we are going to take the lead here, and this is going to go on to become a very, very fortunate victory. Perhaps one of the most fortunate we've ever taken. But you know what? That's what happens sometimes. That's just racing. Sometimes you make one decision in the race and it turns out to be the best thing you did. Other times you make a decision, it will bite you on the behind. This time, quite the opposite. It ended up being the best decision we could make, although the two Ferraris are going to start scrapping each other because they're very, very close. As Norris comes out the pits, he's fighting off Charles Leclerc there, and I just wonder if the Monegasque driver is inside his helmet screaming as he nearly loses it out the corner there, screaming at his teammate to let him go and think of the championship. But Lando Norris having absolutely none of that. Norris has decided it's his day, and that if there were any team orders on the radio, he's just not listening to the radio today. But other than that, it was just remarkably uneventful all the way to the end. We have got a track limits penalty that we acquired, but like I said, it's just been a very unremarkable final 12-13 laps, as all we've had to do is hold on to the car, not lose it, and that is exactly what we've done. The rain has now, I believe it's stopping, so the track would have started to dry out, but not by the end of the Grand Prix. We pitted at the beginning of the race, and that turned out to be an absolute strategic masterstroke as we win the French Grand Prix. Come on.
Oh, peanut butter jelly time! Peanut butter jelly time! Woo!
Yes, you've done it! You've done it! Well done! Great stuff, mate. Great stuff. So after a day of mixed fortunes up and down the field, we bring today's race to a close. So, Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
Well, they have a car that comes alive in the conditions that we were dealing with today. It's a very balanced package in the wet, and what that means is the drivers have confidence to attack. Having that confidence gets you on the power earlier, gets you on the brakes later, and can put you a long way up the road.
Well, what a thrilling end to an incredible Grand Prix weekend. Our top three finishers should be incredibly happy with what they were able to achieve out there today. And after this round of the World Championship...
What a way to get our championship campaign back on track then, with a win and the fastest lap, and doing it from last.
Who do you pick?
I mean, I think we really locked in with the safety car there, let's be honest, but hey, you know, a win's a win. Second place is Lando Norris, not being a great team player for Ferrari, and Leclerc in third, well, I'm sure he's going to want words with the bosses. A decent top four for Ticktum and George Russell in P10, but I feel like that could have been a win for him if he hadn't had that spin. And that's how things are looking in the championship. We've retaken the lead after losing the title lead in what was a very strange weekend in Austria. We've now retaken that championship lead. And yeah, who knows what other twists and turns this season's going to have. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and hit subscribe if you are new here and you want to see more from me. Until the next time, I've been Joe. TTFN guys, ta-ta for now.